I'm LoriKim Alexander. My pronouns are we and us, and I am the ongoing program manager at Afro-Vegan Society. I have been vegan for 30 years. Well, I was introduced to Afro-Vegan Society's work when I started following Brenda Sanders, and I saw all the work that she was doing, and then I was like, wait, she runs this organization. She's executive director of this organization. I went there and I was amazed by just how much work had been put into the educational resources, the fact that there is a list of Black owned restaurants and caterers, and just several different Black resources for folks who are interested in being vegan, or those of us who are already vegan and looking for community, Black community. Honestly, there are very, very few of us doing this work in the vegan spaces right now. That's the first thing. The real overarching reason, though, is that this is really part of the work that I've dedicated my life to. I'm really most interested in Black liberation work. I believe that abolition is a huge part of that. And part of abolition is not just the removal of carceral systems, meaning these systems of this binary between, punishment and freedom as a way towards justice, but thinking through the truth of the fact that the systems that are oppressing Black people, oppressing trans and queer folks, oppressing all of us who are pushed to the margins of the societal systems that are running the globe right now. Those systems are the same ones that are actually pushing other animals and the earth out of the center of the societal systems. And we can't allow that and survive. Also, the truth of the distribution of food to those of us who are marginalized is that those systems that are oppressing us as well are the ones that are taking foods away from us, and the food is also not healthy. So I find that part of liberation work is this imperative truth that folks need education about not only our birthright, which is healthy food and access to food, but also the understanding that we do not have to be part of these systems of incarceration and subjugation and cruelty and death in order to thrive. Also, just again, personally, my goal is to see Black folks back in the woods, right? See us more connected with our natural world, because we are people of the earth. When we walk, it looks like we're coming from the ground up. So wanting us to have that education in a space that is just for us as well. So that's really why the work that Afro-Vegan Society does resonates with me. And the other truth is that it's being done from a space of heart. We're talking to each other in the language that we both know and understand. So this is why this work is really imperative, but this is why I'm here. As the ongoing programming manager, I see Afro-Vegan Society's mission as the center of how we should approach the way we are providing programming to folks, and also the type of information that we're providing. The feedback from our community is the most important thing in terms of getting folks really the information that they need to know. Also, the fact is, if there are gaps that we see in the world, that's the gaps that we need to be filling. And we need to be filling it in a way that makes sense for our community. So, if we're going to be talking, say, about the truth about dairy, we're going to be talking about the truth about the way the dairy industry and the society that has embraced dairy in general has impacted Black people. You know, we're going to talk about our ancestral realities around the fact that we are one of the folks that have the highest percentage of lactose intolerance. And that's actually normal because as humans, we aren't born to drink cow's milk. And also, ancestrally, where we come from across the African continent, we didn't have cows as a source of food or sustenance in any way, not very early on, right? So that's part of the ways that we're going to be talking to folks. And also when we're providing folks with information, we're going to also be able to provide folks with information on how what's the easiest, quickest, cheapest, like most affordable ways to create meals and to have tasty options that mimic or replace these other options that you may think are traditional but aren't really ours. I love this question because I get asked this question a lot in a lot of other spaces, and the real tea, I think, is how could we not? When we know that a lot of the spaces that are giving information about the opportunities that exist in a plant based diet that come from vegan living, the benefits of all of these, they don't include Black voices and they're not made for Black people. We need these spaces because we're the ones who actually innovated these methods of living. This to me is not only regaining our ancestral birthright, but it's reconnecting to a memory that lives in our blood. When I do this work, I always say that I want you to remember that, you know, remember this, remember that. So to me, Afro-Vegan Society is the mission of Afro-Vegan Society is really giving folks not just an opportunity to have this information, but an opportunity to remember and connect to our true selves. So, one of the best things about being a part of this dynamic team of people is that there is this element of care that is woven into everything that we do. And that element of care comes from the truth that, in fact, that Black femmes are the ones who are the keepers of information, who are the drivers of innovation. And we have always held it down, right? We hold it down for movement, for family, for sisterhood, for all of our siblings, right? And it's just beautiful to be a part of that. There's a lot of flexibility in the way that we do things, and we make sure too that things are impactful. And there is an impact that comes when you are working with folks who are in alignment with you on several different levels. So I'm really grateful to be a part of this team, to also grow with, learn with, and teach others in the team as well. And this is something that I have never, ever seen nor experienced anywhere else. And it is truly, truly an honor to be here. The other truth is that there's no one else like Brenda Sanders, not just because, each of us is an individual being that comes around once in a lifetime, once in the world as we know it, but because Brenda has really moved the needle for the vegan movement in ways that I don't think have been truly recognized well. A lot of the language that you see folks using, especially a lot of the newer folks who are coming in, a lot of folks have been using this language consistently because Brenda was able to be one of the first people to introduce it to the space. Also, on the East Coast here, in Baltimore especially, we see the impact of Brenda's work so highly. Coming from a space where I don't live in the same city, but going to visit that city, a black city, and seeing that many black vegans or that many people interested in being vegan, going to black vegan restaurants, going to the supermarket and seeing the number of vegan products available to folks in black neighborhoods that are borderline in terms of the access that's available for fresh fruits and vegetables and also vegan products and more healthy products. Seeing that as a flip is just a wild thing to live through. It makes my heart so full. It makes me so proud, not only to call this person, my sister in the work, but also to know that this impact is there. And that needs to be recognized in some way, right? We need to give her flowers, and we need to also think about the ways that we recognize the folks in our lives that are doing this foundational work, you know? Just stop for a minute and be grateful, not only for yourself and for all that has come to you, but grateful for that person and all the impact that they're going to create as well.